But if you smile, you're more likely to get what you want. So definitely use that. All right, next is tilting your head. And the magic amount and the way that you're supposed to tilt your head, somebody studied this, is 8 degrees to the right. 8 degrees to the right. So perfect that. Tilt your head 8 degrees to the right and smile, and you'll be unstoppable in the round. The judge will just be like, feel their hand going to your box on the ballot. Yeah, if you need any geometry help, Ben is your man. Okay, we learned that the other day.
For how far is too far to tilt your head, Ben is also a reference.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, yes, in the back, yeah.
Is it our right or the judge's right?
A good question. He says, is it your right or the judge's right? It's your right. And you'll see in a second that when you tilt your head towards you, it makes it like you're honest, like you're telling the truth. And I don't know what it is, but it's something subconscious that most people are in tune with that's going to have an effect on your audience. All right, next, you want to keep your hands visible. How many people have maybe done this or seen this in a round where the person's got their hands in their pockets and they're debating? They're like, yeah, man, this is a dumb case, man. Like, yeah, okay, so that's, some people, it's like a habit. It's a nervous thing they do. Other people just think they want to be, like, casual, you know, real casual. That's really not appropriate in debate. I would say the studies have backed this up, that if you can see your hands, you're more persuasive. So don't do this when you're speaking. Keep your hands visible. We'll talk more about gestures in a second.
It does not make you more approachable.
No, it doesn't. Okay, number 4 is plant your feet. All right, and this is a comment that I was always getting, that one of my feet was like doing its own thing here, or whoever said they were dancing in cross-X. You got to plant your feet and show that you're confident and secure there. Yeah.
What about the speaker's triangle?
You mean my first point?
Yes.
My second point? My third point? Yeah, that's crazy. That is only appropriate in like ballroom dancing. Please don't do it in debate rounds, okay? Please don't do it in debate rounds. I'm sorry, but I'm sure it seemed really creative in the 90s when someone decided, ooh, this is really going to revolutionize speaking if I move with my points. No, you want to move naturally. I would encourage you guys, if you're comfortable up there, move around a bit. Don't be tied to the lectern or the podium that you're speaking from, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when you're just, say, you're looking at evidence, you need to be behind something that's holding your evidence. You don't want to be swaying back and forth. That makes you look like you're not confident. You want to be firmly planted, your weight evenly distributed. Yeah.
I've found sometimes that pacing back and forth when making a very serious point can actually be a persuasive point to the judge because they see the seriousness that you have when you're pacing back and forth, and they generally tend to like that more.
I don't know that I would advocate pacing back and forth, but I do advocate using the stage that you have. So, yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes it can kind of it might make you look a little nervous or like you're not confident. Our whole thing here is projecting a confidence or an ethos that gives you a persuasive power that you didn't have before. And that's going to be the easiest way to do that is just to plant those feet firmly on the ground. Yeah.
What about using the speaker's triangle in extemporary?
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I've judged extem finals, like multiple nationals. Please don't do that. The best speakers don't do that. All right? It seems like I think why people fall back on that is because they're not comfortable with their stage. And so they feel like, oh, okay, if I just do this at this time, then now I look like I own my stage. But that's not what the best speakers do. The best speakers move naturally and when it makes sense. And honestly, if I were doing an extem today, I probably wouldn't be moving much more than you see me moving now. Like maybe I step over here. If you have a bigger room, step over here. But I would not be like, okay, my first point. It just, yeah, Claire, please. Yeah.
It looks really forced, and
Yeah.
people know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
The little speaker triangle thing, you're all just thinking, like, this kid, like, everyone else does this.
Yeah.
Why is he walking in this strange triangle that makes no sense?
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
It looks crazy, yeah. I mean, can you imagine if Obama's giving the State of the Union and he's like, let's talk about the economy. Now, foreign policy, I mean, it just, because it looks forced, it's not natural. So the whole thing is come across confident because you're natural up there. Yeah.
Especially this season with extemp, I've gotten a lot of ballots that said you didn't move enough, and I would move very, very small amounts, very natural, because it used to be, some people used to say I moved too much. So, just what can you do to try to read your judges, try to determine what's the proper amount?
Amy, I had a lot of experience.
Yeah, go with extemp, yeah.
So here's the thing. for especially people like you and me, we're really passionate speakers, and so a lot of times when I did extemp, I just stood in one place the entire time. People said it was super intimidating. So when it comes to you, you need to know your speaking style as far as verbally. So verbally and physically, you have a very passionate style. You need to kind of like be a little bit further back and maybe like loosen up and step from like side to side here and there as you feel fit, instead of just standing in one spot the whole time, because it gets very like aggressive and intimidating.
Yeah, the whole thing is you just have to be in tune with the room. Like if you have enough room up there that you can move without it being awkward, then definitely move. But you've got to feel, okay, when is it a natural point for me to move? And that's just something that with practice you'll get more comfortable with. Ben, you want to add to that?
Yeah, for me, movement, it has to come natural, and it has to be fitting to your personality.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I like to think of it as it's intentional, and so the problem with the three-point triangular pattern is that it's too intentional. It's
Yeah.
like, here's my section 1, here's my section 2, and here's my section 3.
Yeah.
If you are in the middle of a point and you're about to make your impact, and this doesn't apply as much to debate as it does to a free-form extemp sort of speech where you don't have a lectern that's
Yeah.
referred to you to some sort of boundaries. But if you're giving a speech like that, you move with emphasis. So as you make a point, here's the significance of this, here's the impact, and you may just take a few steps in one direction and then take a few steps in the other direction a couple minutes later.
Yeah.
So just natural, intentional movement like that, where you move to make an emphasized point, is really helpful and really conducive to engaging with people.
I would say that's a really good tip. Yeah, Ben was just saying move intentionally. When you start to really make an important point, you might take a step or two forward and say, now, Judge, I really want you to pay attention to this. Yeah. Anybody else have something to add on that before we go on? Okay, good. All right, and finally, the fifth thing that persuasive speakers do is they stand up straight. We already talked about that. You don't want to lean to one side, lean to the other side, or shift your weight. You want to stand up straight and project that confidence. Just doing these things alone before you even open your mouth, you automatically have credibility. So here's the head tilt. Imagine you didn't know anything about what either of these men are arguing for in this picture, but which of them seems more trustworthy? What do you guys think? Yeah. Yeah. It's Obama. It's Obama. And why? Because Obama has been coached on all these things. He's been coached on tilting his head and smiling and using those gestures that exude confidence. See how his hand is down like this, exuding confidence. And he's been coached on this. And so I love to watch him because he's just a great example of using all these nonverbals in his favor, right? I think he could vary his pitch a little more, and I think he could vary his tone and his pace a little more. But as far as the nonverbals, I think he's really good. Yeah.
Strangely enough, I see your point because Obama seems a little bit more appealing, and he seems like he's trying to attack me or condone me somehow.
Yeah, like he's trying to sell you a used car. Now, listen here. This is the best car you can get, Yeah, in the back, yeah.
Obama's also not very good at like nonverbals, because my speech coach, she's kind of scary because she can like count how many uhs and ums you use.
Yep.
She says she can't even listen to Obama's speech because he just pauses so much at random places. He uses so many filler terms like uhs.
Yeah, he really does. To give us an example of this, Spencer was going to give us a little Obama action here. We'll probably be 10 to 15 minutes past time. Is that okay?
I'm not black.
I don't have a teleprompter, so I won't be that credible. Well, let me be clear. Last week, a YouTube video spawned a spontaneous protest, and people killed our ambassador. Also, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
All right. Thank you, Spencer. All right. Good one.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you're looking at what does an 8-degree head tilt look like, I did the math, and so basically 1 minute on the clock represents 6 degrees of rotation because your whole clock is 360 degrees, which means that if you want to tilt your head 8 degrees to the right, you just have to think your head represents the minute hand, and you want to be 2/3 of the way into the second minute on the hour. Does that make sense? Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
My apologies, 20 seconds into the second minute of the hour, so only 1/3 into the second minute.
So basically the second minute is what you're trying to say.
Almost a second minute.
You make everything so much easier.
Excellent. Okay, so now I'm sorry that all of you are going to go home and look in the mirror with a clock, like, okay. All right, nonverbals. What can we do? Number one, make eye contact. Eye contact is the number one thing. There are more studies that back this up than anything else I've said to you today. And that is that if you make eye contact with someone when you're talking to them, you're automatically more persuasive. It builds your rapport with your audience. It makes them want to do what you're going to tell them. All right? So eye contact is the best thing that you can do. Here's some of the things that studies have shown eye contact can do. It makes you not only more credible, it makes you more dominant in the room or in the conversation. It also makes you more attractive, and this is scientifically proven, all right? So eye contact, all right? All right, next. Number two, own your platform, own your stage, own the space that you're in, all right? And you'll see plenty of debaters, just like Rand Paul over here, holding on to their podium or their lectern. They're stuck behind there. They don't go beyond it. They kind of rest on it. And really, they may look academic, they may look smart, but they don't look confident. And so you look over here at Steve Jobs. He gets up there with just a screen. He doesn't need to have notes. He doesn't need a podium. Now in debate, obviously, you have to quote evidence. But what I'd recommend is putting that podium or lectern to the side, and then that way there's nothing as a barrier between you and the audience. It makes you more approachable, more relatable, and it makes you more persuasive in the end. So, yeah, we talked about that. Don't shift weight. Do be relaxed. Don't be rigid. All right, gesture widely. Don't lean on the lectern. Do stand beside it.